Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Being Sam I Am. I am Sam I Am. Coming at you live from, yeah, my favorite place in the world. Listen, I just watched a video of a young girl who was talking about the book of Job. And she gave her opinion. And the opinion was that Job, but the book of Job was, Job basically was, he was good. He was a good steward. And God called him to do something, which was his job. His job was to show the world and tell the world and the people that were around him that things that happen to you, they happen to you because they're already ordained to happen to you. Like that's already happened. Like sometimes I talk about the future. It's already there. You can't change it. You can, because you will just cause something to happen that had you not done that, then this wouldn't have happened, this wouldn't have happened, this wouldn't have happened, and it causes all of that to happen. So if you go left when you're supposed to go right, that can change. I call it a chain of events can happen. And that's what basically the book of Job was about. God told him that this is what you have to do. This is going to be your job. This is it. This is what you have to do. And it was not about pain. It was not about suffering. The pain and the suffering that Job was experiencing was the fact that he was having to do something that was not in his will. You know, it was in the will of God. It wasn't in his own personal will. The same thing happened with Jesus when he went into the desert and he was speaking with Satan. Satan was, in his head and was basically telling him, oh, this is not good. You're not good. You're not worthy. And Jesus was not listening to it, but he was hearing it. And it goes to the cross. It was not in Jesus' will to go to the cross. He did not want to do it. Okay, he kept praying to God, like, please, if there's anything else I can do, I'll do it. I just don't want to do it. And so God said, it's my will and you got to do it. So he had to do it. But when it comes to suffering for humanity, that's different. Now, what I was picking up from that video was that she was basically explaining that when a person goes through pain or goes through suffering, it is because of God. It is not a punishment. It is his will. And that's not always the case. If a person is going through suffering because of something that they did, say that they have stolen something, or they have coveted on neighbor, or something like that, where there would be a punishment, chopping their hand off or something like that, or they've said something about somebody that wasn't true, they chop your tongue off or cut your tongue off or something like that. That is because you decided to do something that you wanted to do. Not necessarily saying that it was God's will, like, oh, God knew you was going to do that because blah, 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 and then there you go. So that's what you get. That ain't what that is. That's completely different. So the suffering that is being discussed, that's the matter at hand, is there is some energy, there is something, there is somebody that decides that, hey, this is not good to do. We are going to be the judge and the jury, and we are going to decide your fate. And that hasn't anything to do with God. It doesn't. That is an energy that is saying, these are our rules, this is what it is, and that's what it's going to be, and that's what you're going to get. And God is going to allow you to go through what you go through because those are the choices that you made. But let's not be confused about anything at all. That don't have nothing to do with no God, because God did not give us the spirit to be able to have the ordainment is what it is. You're not ordained to do those kind of things, because the Bible says to judge not, and unless you judge yourself first. And if you do that, you can't very well say, oh, well, we get you, but we're not gonna look at ourselves. Oh no, man, we only gonna look at you. Okay, so don't be sending no mirror towards me, because I don't want to see that. I want to see you in the mirror. And you can't do that. You can, but it's not a fair trade. It's not even, and that's not God. That is somebody that's telling you that we're going to judge you because you're not us. And that's what that is. And I don't care however you look at it. That don't have nothing to do with no Job. That don't have nothing to do with no God. It has to do with just that's the way that the world is. That is. So if you find yourself in in a world of that gravity, or where it's thought of to be in that way. You have to start using your brain to understand how to pivot, how to move, not how to play a game. Because life is not a game. It is not. Life is a series of events that end in one result: death. That's it. And I was saying that they say that doing drugs, it'll end in jails, institution, or death. That's anything. Okay? I don't care what situation you are in life. It will end in one of those three ways: jail, institution, or death. That's it. So listen, I'll give you $100 if you can tell me of one situation that does not end that way: in jail, in an institution, or in death. And you ain't gonna, I can tell you now, you ain't gonna be able to tell me one. Because you ain't gonna be able to tell me one. Because, duh. And that's one all in the same, because you go into the institution, the mental health, the nut house, and that's like jail, because it is. And you die, you know? So you got to start looking at things of your judgment, of your narrative, of your pen that you are writing, because it's your life. And I always say, don't let anyone write your narrative, because that means that you have taken your pen and said, here you go, I'm going to just stand here and let you just write my life. Those are the choices that you're making. You have to decide what you want to do. Don't let anybody make a choice for you that you did not decide. If you are in a situation, you go through something, you have to either say, hey, fuck this, I ain't going through this shit. Or you're saying, you know what, this is what it is. I have to do this because that's my responsibility. And if you say some shit like that, then you're going to have to say some shit like that. But you're going to have to stand on that shit. And, you know, you might find yourself standing and you'll be fucked up. So make sure that you know what you're saying, because people won't hold you to that. And you can go back on it. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can say, hell, I changed my mind. I changed my damn mind. You can. But just know that whatever you put out into the universe, it's going to come. It's going to come. So if you're putting it out there, it's going to be there. But you have an opportunity to say, hey, I know I put that out there. Let me put this out there, so that when it comes back, boom, it'll be, and you create that whole ripple effect. And once you do that, you got to understand something. Whatever happens. You just got to stand in it. And you don't want to stand in it alone. So that's why you're going to need God. You're going to need something. Don't be thinking that you're going to be standing there with a bunch of people around you that don't like you, that want you dead and all this other shit. And it's going to happen, and it's the will of God. Because that ain't no will of God. Okay? Let's be clear about that. And that ain't no will of God. So we're not going to confuse the two. I had to say something about that, because I was like, no, you ain't going to be perpetuating that onto no Job, so that you can justify doing that shit, because that ain't no justification. And I ain't judging nobody, because you do what you do. But I said, this is my responsibility, because I'm on a paradigm shift. The hell I am. I ain't on no paradigm shift. No, you ain't, he ain't, she ain't, we ain't. We exactly where the hell we supposed to be, else we wouldn't be here.